Hello, I am back. So if you follow the previous slide, our dough has rested 30 minutes in the fridge. So it's not as smooshy as before. It looks harder. And this is how we want it because otherwise it will crumble. Remember, this is the recipe for the crostata. So we're doing la crostata della domenica, vi ricordate? So we said that I was going to teach you how to do crostata with any jam that you wanted. So let's repeat a little bit the ingredients. So we had the flour, we had 1 egg, then we had the butter and the sugar. That was basically it. So you can go back to the previous slide and see how I put together this dough. And it just rested 30 minutes in the fridge. So now is the moment, and we already did it in the previous slide. We got a stick of butter. I don't use those sprays. I'm not going to say the name, but if you look at the ingredients, there's a lot of other things except butter. So do me a kind favor, just get a little bit of butter and just do like this in your pan. That's a lot healthier than using sprays, okay? So now it's the time that you're all waited for. So you have, I'm going to lower a little bit this. So you have this dough that has been in the fridge for a little bit, so it's harder, and this is how you want it. So if you do not have a spatula, as I have, you're going to get a knife. And you're going to divide this dough in a part of 3/4 and a part of 1/4, more or less, okay? Don't worry if you get it wrong. You can come back to it and have a look, okay? So you have one part that is bigger than another. Because with one, we are going to do the base, and with the other one, we're going to do the rope. You see, I thought that this was 1/4. So how does it feel to my hands? Of course, there is butter. We're not joking. We just put in a stick and 3/4 of butter that equals 194 grams for the people that are following me in Italy of butter. So we're talking about shortbread here. So we want something that is pretty, yummy with butter. Okay, so we have this part and we need to put it on the base here. I hope you guys can all see me. So I'm not using a rolling pin in this case because it's going to break. So we are going to put it inside the pan and slowly with your hands, you are going to press it down. Really, you see, with your fingers, just gently. Very gently. There you go. You try to keep it leveled, so you don't want one side that is higher than the other side. And because there is butter in, the more I touch it, the better it becomes because it warms up. And you press it and you press it. It's kind of Play-Doh. Kind of everything that I teach you is very manual, like when we do ravioli or pasta or gnocchi, you always want to use your hands and it changes. So you see how it did change already with my hands? So have a look. Yeah, so you want to use rather a square pan rather than, a round pan rather than a square because it's easier to cut. You'll see some pictures later as well. So I'm going to put more butter on the side as well. Okay, now this part, it's important to me. You need to put the jam on the whole side of the dough here because some people put the ropes and then they put the jam. I do like my jam to be under the ropes. So let me clean my hands that are really sticky, okay? So let's clean the otherwise, you know why I'm cleaning my hands? Because I cannot ever open the jar. I did it. Oh my gosh, I did open the jar. Good for me. So I showed you in the previous video, this is one of the jams that I like. And you remember what was my favorite jam? And what are my kids' favorite? Is Nutella. right? They do like crostata with Nutella, but I do like a lot wild berries and cherries. So I like my crostata to be strong, but some people also like peaches, and some people also like fresh fruit. Okay, with a spoon, and you're going to use the whole jar, okay? So don't worry about putting too much. There's never too much. It's kind of like cheese on the pasta. So you are going to put it on the top. You're going to put the whole jar, huh? Remember what I told you. You're going to put them also on the corners. So because if you put too less, it's going to be very, very dry. So how do we eat crostata in Italy? It's a dry cake, of course, with jam that is called marmellata in Italy. And we have it with coffee, we have it with tea, we have it in the morning. There is something called crostatine in Italy, del Mulino Bianco, that remind me a little bit of my childhood. So there were some snacks. They were the little version of the crostata that it came in little bags, and they were with different flavors. So you see, I kind of use this is my dog barking. He wants to come out of the room, but we're not letting her out now that I'm doing this, right? So you see, I've used the whole surface, right? Okay, now it's rope time. So I'm going to set this aside, okay? So we have this that was 1/4 of the dough, and we're going just to get pieces. So we have to have some flour in front because it can crumble. So you always see me say in each class, flour, flour, flour. Always true, okay? Always put flour. So it's like when we do a gnocchi class that we want to do ropes, but the ropes this time are sweet, and we're going to put them on the cake. You can actually also write things on the cake. So some flour on your hand, check the hands, they're nice and full of flour. Then you will start from the middle, okay? Never from the sides, and from the middle, you will go out, okay? Always from the middle, because otherwise your rope will not come long. So you go from the middle, you will go out. From the middle, you will go out. You see how it stretches? And then if you see that it starts crumbling, that's okay. Maybe you can add a little water if it does. Or if it does too much, you can make it smaller. And you go from like this. Okay, and then you can take the rope that you did and you start to put it on your cake and press it down. You see, I'm just doing the side of it. It's all done by hand. You cannot see that this is not Mama Love, huh? Okay, let's go. We do another part. You're going to get another rope. I'm going to pour a little water here just in case my hands have too much flour. So just stay with me. You see a dog around? That's my dog. I know, Amy, you're hungry, right? Okay, so I just wetted a little bit. Okay, so I'm doing the rope again. So you see I go slowly, and then I re-get the cake. And I put another rope, and I overlap it. I kind of overlap it. You see, you don't see it when it's baked. Kind of did like a smiley face. Yeah, we're getting hearts. Yes. Okay, so we get another side because we have to continue the whole side of the cake, and then we need to put ropes, so you can put a number, you can write happy birthday, you can write I love you, you can write you are the best. I don't know, you can write whatever you want, okay? You can surprise the person that you love. So as I told you before, because there is butter here, you see, it takes my fingerprints. It's like Play-Doh, really. Let your kids play in the kitchen. There is nothing wrong apart cleaning the kitchen afterwards, of course, but there's nothing really wrong about it. So you see, from the inside to the outside, and then we put the rope again. There we go. See? Rope, rope, rope. There, again, do it with your hands. Quindi questa si chiama in italiano crostata di marmellata. Then you can have crostata di Nutella, crostata di fragole, so it depends what you put on the top. Yeah? So we do this one. There. And we put more. And I have a tiny, tiny, tiny little piece that I'm going to fill this one as well. It's the tiniest. It's okay. I can do it also holding this with my hands. You see, I just did a tiny little piece. Okay, the traditional crostata will have ropes that they will be crossing, making squares. So I'm going to teach you the traditional one. So we are going to do the same ropes, but then I'm going to pull the camera a little bit lower so you can see both my hands and the cake. Let's do this. I'll do them a little longer. You see? I hope everybody's days was as good as mine. I got sunburned a little bit. You can see it from my arms. Okay, you always start from the longest part. So you see the cake, you have the whole cake, so divide it by half here, and you start from the longest part. So, and if you cannot draw a rope that will go the whole length, don't worry. Just divide it by 2. Once it's cooked, you don't see it. Look, I'm going to show you how you do it by 2. This is one half, and then you do the other half. There. So, we've done the middle, okay? Then we're going to do the other cross, here. It's like playing TikTok, guys. Really, it's not any difference. Okay, always the same amount. And I'll show you the finished product once it's cooked. Maybe you'll see some pictures. If they leave any, it's at their grace, huh? Okay, so let's try to do a longer one. There. Okay, now, what's the problem that I see when I teach this is people are afraid to overlap it. Do not be afraid, okay? It's like overlapping 2 real ropes. Look, you get it? Bang, you overlap it. See? You really overlap it. Not difficult. It's really important that you press these little people down on the edges, okay? Then we missed 2 more ropes. One here and one here, okay? Let's do this. And then we just have to get the fork to press everything down and then in the oven. Maybe somebody's awake in Italy to have like a midnight snack, because in Italy it's now midnight. There. So, all right, almost the last one. There should be the perfect length. Oh yes, you see I do it so often that I can just get the lengths. So this side, and we just miss this. I'm going to ask one of my assistants if I can get a fork, Tommaso, since I have them here in the kitchen, right? It's not only the benefit of eating, it's also helping. Thank you, Tommaso. Thank you so much. We got the fork. Okay, so this is almost the last one. There. So don't be afraid really of overlapping, okay? Remember? And if you think that it's too difficult, just break them in 2. And we're going to do a rope here and a rope here. So you're going to break these in two. There we are. And I tell you, once it's cooked, you don't see all the junctures. So, there. What? Let's call it crostata pie in English, right? L'ultimo pezzo. See, this is why you make so little squares. Here we are, so if you have a little more piece. See? Here we are. We made all the little squares just by overlapping. Next thing that you have to do with the fork, you have to press down just the corners that they hit the border, and then you put it in the oven. And I'm going to write the recipe in the comments or in the body of this live so you can all do it with me. You are going to need the flour 00 that of course you can't find in the shops. I'm going to put a link so that you guys know where to buy it, because it's important, you know, that we have all the same ingredients. Otherwise you have to be patient that my cookbook will be ready. Huh? I'm working on it, so it should be October of this year. So I'm ready to put this in the oven. So I thank you very much for being patient, for staying with me and doing the crostata through these two lives, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will do it as well. Maybe with another jam, maybe with the same, and maybe with Nutella. Buon sabato sera a tutti, so happy weekend. Ciao!